Hello, welcome back. We are back and continuing our BESM Worlds adventures. We were continuing in our Fullmetal Alchemist adventures, where our pair, Zeke and Alvar, just have left the small town of Evanston, to head north to a fortification. Is to the outside of the city. Old fort, now in ruins. So the two of you pack up a little bit of things, get yourselves together, and the journey to the north is, it's like half an hour or so on an old trail. The trail itself is definitely not super maintained, kind of beat up. There's like overgrowth in certain areas, but it seems like probably there's enough traffic to maintain it, in quotations. So it's not a bad trip overall. When you come across
enough maintenance, as in, people hike it, or is it enough maintenance as in hooligans come up here to mess around?
You're not sure. It's will have at least maintained it enough that there's a obvious trail. That's the best way to say it. So it's about, as I said, like half an hour to an hour of traveling to get up to here. Again, it's sort of like the last time that people like to tell you the time it's going to take. And if it was a nice trail, it would probably take that long. But it's not that nice of a trail. It's a pretty, dirty, dusty, beat-up trail. So it takes just a tiniest bit longer.
If you rode on my back, this would be faster.
Then I wouldn't get a lay of the land. It's important to scope things out.
Indeed. So, you kind of go through some, foresty areas that it kind of winds through and kind of moves up into these hills. And eventually, though, the tree line kind of breaks out to this trail that kind of, moves into these very old stone stairs built into it that kind of, wind up part of the hill into appears to be, an old, overgrown fort. You can see there's kind of, there's a kind of, opening here on the side of the hill, but you can see where the forest on, the back of the hill is kind of, overwhelming into it a little bit. It seems to be, a central tower, which is a little beat up, a little ruined, partially collapsed, and a kind of small area around it, with a couple of a walled area around it. It's not sure how many, if there's any kind of sign of buildings or anything from inside, but it does look like this trail kind of winds up to a door. It seems to be a smaller door, probably not the main entrance. You're guessing the trail from the village wasn't the main entrance, this was probably more for, villagers or soldiers coming to and from the village.
Okay. Well, and about how long ago, was this used? Was it, used years ago, a year ago?
Well, the thing is,
10 years ago?
This looks very medieval fortress. So this might be hundreds of years old. How long ago it was last used? Probably quite a time period, but it's hard to tell exactly how long ago anybody was in here just from the outside. It does have this wooden door that's kind of blocking the way that seems at least in half-decent condition. So it had to have been maintained for a certain amount of time, beyond the medieval era. But how close into your modern era it is, you're not sure. You can quickly move your way up to that door, though. It does appear to be kind of locked, though. This wooden door.
I know I was forgetting something when I made my character. Oh, well.
I have a key, and I raise my fist.
I mean, we could always go over, I say, pointing up.
Can you climb?
Moderately.
How high up is the wall?
Probably like 20 feet up. I mean, it's high, but it's not like super high.
I do, and don't forget, we are alchemists, I say.
Yeah. I just kind of take a few steps back and do a light jog jump and then climb the rest.
Okay.
I don't know.
I move slightly off to the side, and I'm gonna draw a transmutation circle.
Mm-hmm.
To basically make the basically inconspicuously off to the side, kind of make handholds, I guess.
Okay.
Just like basically make the bricks stick out a little bit to kind of climb up easier.
Yeah, you're gonna like pop out some of the bricks to make it that you can kind of handhold it.
Yeah.
Okay. Both of you are gonna have to make me like body athletics rolls, I guess. Then body acrobatics, I'll say. Sure. I think that's
Okay.
climbing. Let me check.
I think it is. Bruce does a specialization.
Climbing is its own thing. Acrobatics
its own
is
thing.
another.
Then body climbing checks. Yes.
Well,
I
I
mean-
have to make two because I jumped and then climbed.
Yeah, so you have to make me a body acrobatics followed by a body.
So +1 for the specialization.
Okay.
So 19 on my jump.
Yeah, you're fine to get a good jump up.
22 on my climb.
Yeah,
23 because I specialize.
Yeah, and then you can sort of like kind of leap up, get like partially up the wall, and then kind of like scramble up the rest of the way.
There it is.
All right. You with your handholds managed to definitely like scramble up the wall pretty easily yourself. You make it a lot easier with setting up the.
I work to add modifiers versus actually trying to succeed by rolls.
Yes. And both of you managed to kind of scramble to the top of the wall. Inside, you can see that the fortification itself is probably not a huge place. You've got this kind of tower that's sort of next to you, that's partially collapsed. You can see the remnants of a few buildings that were in here. Most of the ground is mostly overgrown. There's like a small well in the middle of it that probably helped get some water for the place. Mm-hmm. Probably definitely in case of sieges, it might have helped. There does seem to be a set of large front gates which are ajar over onto the other side. It looks like you probably would have had to climb around the hill to get to them, but you wouldn't have to climb the wall. Maybe it would have been easier, maybe not. Hard to say.
While
it would have been less flashy.
Yeah, while your character is climbing, I just kind of lean over the wall. Need some help?
I'm good. I view the idea of work smarter, not harder.
Didn't really take much effort for me. I didn't even have to draw a circle. Seems like I didn't put a lot of effort into it.
To each their own. So I'm gonna kind of see if I can't scope out this place a little bit.
Okay.
In the sense that because I assume the fort is probably slightly up on a bluff or something.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to use it almost to get a lay of the land a little bit.
It's definitely like kind of up on this like hillside that kind of this is like the highest hill in the area where it kind of like moves up to like kind of a bluff, so it's a little steeper on the side you came up on, but then you've got those kind of stairs, leading up to like a single door. So it would probably been like definitely difficult to invade from the steep side, as you have a steep staircase leading up to a single door that could easily be protected. And also, you're probably coming from the village side, so more than likely that's probably not where they were assuming to attack from. You can get an idea that it's kind of hilly to the north here with a couple of small forests. As you kind of look, you can see the village down to the south of you. You can see that off to the west and the south of the village seems to be a bunch of farmlands. You can see a little bit of the kind of stream/river even farther, like kind of down south there. To the west, because I'm upside down, I gotta get this right. To the east, where you were warned about going, You can see it kind of goes into a little bit of more foresty area after a short bit of farmland, and it moves off into some like mountainous kind of area a little bit farther on, where it kind of looks like the mountain range that's a little bit in that area kind of moves through.
Mountain bandits. Forest bandits. Both are very cliche.
So I'm gonna like, you know, so I'm gonna take out my sniper rifles, not like fully assemble it, but take out the scope and kind of use that almost as a spyglass to kind of scope out the forest, which we were told not to go to.
Okay.
Do you
I can see the remnants of any structures or something.
Do you leave your box open?
Because you're right there, yes.
I just kind of like start looking at things, poking them.
I like kind of like, you know, see, I appeared to not be paying attention, but I do notice you messing with it, and so I just go, just don't touch the bullets, they're special.
Almost as if on cue, finger hovers over the bullet, moving back and forth. Oh, just about as close as you can get. I'm not touching them.
Anyway, you notice that there are like there are an array of bullets, and they all have different like transmutation, like little circles drawn on each of the bullets.
Hmm. So that's where your skills are.
Yes.
All right then. See anything?
Do I?
Give me just a body sort of perception check.
Cool. Body check.
Oh no, mind perception. I'm sorry, we're doing mind
good.
perception. Yeah, mind perception.
Much better.
All
Ooh.
Right. You kind of take a look out. No, I mean it looks a lot of the same things you've seen, like just by. You're not noticing anything particularly different. You can tell that there are. Like the main thing you pick up is there are some like smaller trails and roads. It does look like there's a road which continues to the east from the town that's a little larger, but it kind of disappears into the forest and mountains. So more than likely there is some kind of trade route that goes that way. You can also notice that there is like a the old road that would lead probably up past this hill here seems to disappear after a short while. You definitely, because you're a lot closer to that, notice that the road just sort of deteriorates. Probably just eaten up by the forest completely. And really the road that leads to the north of the village is more like leading into some of the farmland. To the south, it does seem to keep going across the river, which you do see there is a bridge.
Did you say the road from the fort goes to the forest?
There was a road that probably would have passed by the fortress, but it went into the forest that's kind of underneath you and around the fortress now, and it disappears. It seems like it was just eaten by the forest. Like, you can kind of, like, look down as this road that came out of the town. Like, there was probably a road that went by the fortress, and then the trail that you used to come up to the fortress. Road is, like, abandoned long ago, it seems.
Okay. So it doesn't... So, basically what I'm getting is it does not appear to... it does not appear... as if the bandits are using the fort at all. There's no real direct path. I
mean, none that's noticeable. You can tell that the forest that eventually goes over to your east does connect to here. So I mean, there might be trails under the canopy you can't see. You can't deny that couldn't be a possibility, because again, the trail you took up disappears for a good portion of it under the canopy. Like, when you look down, you're like, I can't see most of the, like, half the trail we took to get here. So...
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay.
Yeah. So, like, a person-sized trail that, like, you know, individuals would walk on could definitely be hidden still.
Yes. Well, shall we get lost?
Did you see anything?
No, I actually didn't. It's fairly concealed by trees. line of sight doesn't favor this terrain.
What kind of trees?
Are they Tentus? Are they
Oh God.
coniferous? What are the other ones?
Deciduous, probably more deciduous.
Deciduous.
Probably
Okay.
moving up to some coniferous towards the mountains, probably. But mostly
Okay.
deciduous forest, we'll kind of say.
That's fair. And I'll answer with mostly deciduous.
Hmm. I'm now looking them up to see if they would be, if they have strong branches.
I mean,
Damn.
depends on
There-
the type of tree and depends on how thick the branch is.
I was looking because I was wondering if they were capable of being swung from, and no, not really.
No. You can't Tarzan it through this forest, at least.
Not through this one, but another one.
One of these
Or-
days.
Or if there's enough street lights.
Yes. Good times. Good times. Not right now.
Or rafters.
Yes, or rafters to swing from.
True. Or chandeliers.
Mm-hmm.
In from the chandelier.
There you go, word.
Anyway.
Anyway. All right.
Are you good at keeping a low profile? Like,
Very.
can you... Okay. Alright. Can
Getting
you...
into positions is my specialty.
Okay. How fast can you move while being low? And I'm not talking about stealthy, I just mean low height.
Pretty well.
Is this like you're pretty well for how fast you run?
I've learned to basically run. Honestly, if anything, I'm slowed down because I'm always careful.
Good excuse. Let's get lost. And I just kind of like hop off the side of the wall.
Okay. All right. So I guess the two of you will kind of, I guess, wander in the forest towards the east. I'm assuming is what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
also wouldn't mind following the other side of the fort.
Okay.
See where it might go.
Okay. That seems to lead into some kind of old road for a short while, and then it seems to split off into a number of trails. Seems like
One
the
of them
road.
east.
One of them does go more towards the east. Actually, two of them. One of them sort of goes to the northeast, and one of them goes towards the east. The other kind of goes towards the northwest.
And we've already gone north, right?
Well, you are already north of the village.
Yeah, so probably the straight east one then.
Okay. You can wind on that path for quite some time. Just getting an idea, this path seems probably as well maintained as the one from the fortress you had before. The one that led up from the town to the fortress. And it kind of, after maybe like a few hours of wandering, you definitely are, well, lost because you've just been wandering. You know you're on the trail. You have a general idea of the direction you've been traveling, but it's like you're somewhere in that direction at this point in time. So as much as you'd like to not be lost, you probably are lost to a good degree unless you have some kind of wilderness wilderness tracking, actually, or survival. Both of us.
No, I actually, sadly, I took urban tracking.
Yes. So,
Not my specialty.
yeah.
You point them out to me and I can run them down.
You begin to like definitely feel like you're getting deeper into the forest anyway. That seems to be a lot more like rugged and natural, and it becomes odder and odder that like in this like deep forest that this trail is nice. You question like, is this like a nature trail? Is this something else? But eventually you begin to hear some kind of noise up ahead. It begins to sound like talking of some people.
I'm going to climb up into a tree.
I'll help him get up there.
Okay. Just like toss him. It's like, wah!
Practically, just like watch him start to climb and just grab, toss.
All right, Alvar, make a climbing body climb check.
Boop.
Okay. You'll kind of like seemingly like having a little trouble at the bottom, but as soon as he kind of like pushes you up there, he gets you like into the branches, which are really easy to climb up on, and you are a little startled, but you're like, oh, but you managed to get up there.
All right, and with that, I'll hang my like backpack from a tree limb and kind of use that to kind of set up my rifle and actually take it out and fully assemble it.
Okay. What are you doing, Zeke?
Kind of look down at myself, look up at the skinny branches. I can't hide, can I?
I mean, the bush. There's some bushes around you which are like nearly as tall as you, so you are still fairly well hidden because it is like thick underbrush, except for your trail. But just by like the idealism of forest, around you is pretty much what's hiding you.
I go over, sit in the bushes, and actually like put my arms together, and what probably look like weird tattoos on my arms when I put them together form alchemy circles. And I kind of my skin starts changing color temporarily to look more like the area around us.
Okay.
Also, might as well do this right now.
Okay. Ooh. Nice. Okay. So you are like, you kind of like hide yourself up in the trees. You can kind of get a sight of what's also seemingly up ahead. There appears to be like a small like opening in the forest, like a small glade or something, where there seems to be some kind of campsite and a bunch of people in it. What are you doing?
Sitting in a bush.
Yep, you're sitting in a bush. How about you, Alvar? You just gonna watch them or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch them.
All right. There seems to be a level of activity of some people kind of moving around. They just seem to be kind of hanging out right now. Time's going to go by about an hour, and if you're not going to do anything, then it seems like another person's going to...
I have an idea. I just need to figure out how to do this, because it's a... like over here and then up. Is there a way to do this?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, around me after I use the transmutation, several leaves and other plants and stuff like that seem to die a little bit, but not to where it would be uncommon, just enough to steal pigment. Pretty much.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to make a sort of probably not. I mean, obviously I could do whatever, but it's kind of just like yeah, I'm just gonna kind of sit there for now.
Okay. All right. As I said, about after an hour goes by, and it seems like another man shows up. Someone else joins the group. Again, you don't have like a perfect view of it, so you can sort of see them kind of moving in and out between some of the trees. but you can tell this person wasn't there and shows up. There's seemingly some buzz going on. And then about after another half an hour, because it's probably getting to be late into afternoon now, they start heading down the trail that you guys came on. You see this other man leading a group of about like 5 other men, and they kind of move by. Let me roll something here. Let me just roll 2d6. Okay. They kind of keep an eye out, and they just kind of pass by you guys. Like one of you sort of hiding in the bush with like kind of like a little like area with pigments and stuff, and the other's like up in the tree, and they just kind of like move by you all and start heading down the trail the way you came. And then they seemingly disappear into the forest, going the direction you came from.
I'm gonna take a look. Is there anyone still at the camp?
No, it seems like the campsite's been cleared out. It seems like there have been those 5 men that was following him, and this guy came and just picked him up and moved on.
Okay. After they're a decent ways away, I say we should investigate their camp. See what we could find.
Might as well. I hold my arms out for you to like jump into.
I roll my eyes and I do so.
You're fine then. You get
Set him
down just fine.
And it's easier than having to try to figure out what to do with my gun while I climb down.
Yep. Alright, going over to the campsite and checking it out, it just seems to be a very small campsite. More than likely, this is probably an ancillary one. You know, this is not a main campsite. It just seems to be a small area with, like, a couple of crates of supplies, a couple barrels, probably filled with some water, like a small fire here. There seems to be, like, a kind of small, simple wooden lean-to or something set up, probably for if some people need to stay the night, you know, and get out of the rain. It looks like it's got enough space that those 5 men could probably sleep in there if they needed to. But that would probably be pretty crowded. There doesn't seem to be any kind of bedrolls or stuff set up right now. There does seem to be some like kind of like little cook kits and stuff. It looks like they had some kind of food that they've taken off the fire, you know, and kind of emptied it out. Not quite cleaned up everything perfectly. So more than likely they will be back, but for now it just seems like they've vacated the place.
Do any of the boxes or barrels or whatever have anything bearing something that might indicate alliance with Erugo?
Let's see here. Probably the barrels, no. Most of the crates seem to be just filled with like kind of food supplies. Granted, some of it seems like stuff that might be more native to Erugo, but again, it's like you're close to the border anyway, so it could be found. The final crate, when you open it up, appears to have a number of weapons in it, like extra weapons. It appears to be a number of like machine guns and things like that. They seem to be of an Erugo design, but again, it's also like they have some older weapon guns, a little bit more primitive than your own country, so they could also just be like. It's not a direct evidence that they necessarily gave it to them. It's close, though.
I did put 1 level into this skill, though. Foreign culture.
Foreign culture. Yeah, you kind of take like a good look at them and kind of look at them closely. You do notice that there are some designs on here that more than likely these were produced in that country.
Okay.
They do seem newer rather than just old guns that are probably still in the market. And your knowledge of guns, with your knowledge of guns combined with that, you can tell that more than likely they were produced in the country. These seem pretty new. You didn't see them armed with anything like that at the time. You know, they didn't seem to be traveling with any kind of heavy firepower. But it looks like they have this in case they need to break stuff out.
Okay. Well, this appears to be Erugo from what I can tell.
Hmm. I think they were going to the fort to look for us.
Think so?
Well, temporary campsite, squad of 5 people, outnumbering 2, going to the fort.
Question is, where are the rest of the people? This camp isn't big enough for this would not house a full rebellion.
It's a pickup. We're supposed to be at the fort right now. We can get ahead of them. Meet them back at the fort.
Or ambush them on the way back when they realize we're not there.
That creates a problem, though.
Oh, so?
If they disappear, they know we're not just travelers in the town. Everyone gets alerted. If we deal with their stuff, then we could probably at least find out where their camp is.
So interrogate them.
Reverse their plans onto them after we figure out where things are.
So basically, you want to find out where their camp is, and then, or I thought you were using them to find out where their camp is.
We are, but if we just kill them or interrogate them, then everyone's gonna know something's wrong before we get to their camp.
Not necessarily.
Either way, we need to head back.
Agreed.
All right. Are you heading directly down the trail? How are you getting back?
Probably direct. We don't have survival stuff, so probably we have to go directly down the trail to avoid getting lost. But at the same time, staying far enough behind them to where
they don't notice.
Yeah.
Then why don't both of you roll me some, probably just a generalized stealth for tracking them, then we'll say.
Stealth goes off of what?
Body.
Body.
Well, this time I'll say mind. Mind stealth.
Oh, okay.
Just because you're less trying to like be, like, oh, I'm hiding behind something, and more like I'm trying to make sure they don't notice anything.
I'm not particularly trained in it.
Okay.
My roll was worse, but my modifier is better.
Yes. Okay. So the two of you kind of are shadowing them. Let me just roll that. Okay.
Oh, gosh. I don't know how crits work in this game.
Not necessarily. Just because I rolled two sixes does not mean anything necessarily terrible is going to happen. We'll put it that way. You
fair.
need a special modifier to actually technically critical on a double six, or it's mostly if you exceed something by a certain amount, you really critical normally.
Yeah.
So, a couple of times you could swear they might notice something, but it doesn't look like the guards in the back do. There does seem to be a little bit of chatting in amongst them. You can't really, because you're trying to hold back, you're not really getting a good hear of what they're saying. And it definitely does seem like, a couple times one of them will stop and kind of look back and be like, and at one point in time you hear one go must be a deer, and then head on and meet up with the rest of them, almost as if he might have heard you for a second. But you do manage to seemingly even with the bonus you have, kind of get to the location you're trying to,
Shoot him in the head. Must have been my imagination.
Thwomp the Skyrim arrow out of the head, or sticking out of his eye or something. It's must have been my imagination. They will eventually head into the fortress, and seemingly be kind of you'll see a couple of the men standing around at the gate to the fortress, the old open gate, and you can see the rest of them have head inside.
Mm-hmm.
But you've managed to get back to the fortress now, at least. So there is as I said, there's the 2 guys that are seemingly watching the gate right now, and the other 4 are inside. Well, the other 3 seemingly like mook guys and whoever the leader is of this little band. What are you folks doing?
So they're at the fort now?
Mm-hmm. They reached the fort. They don't look like they were going in for, like, surprise at what's going on in the fort. They seem to have just gone inside, like as they were supposed to go inside. As I said, 2 were watching the gate, and the other 4 went inside, just like straight in, just walked in.
I recommend we go around to the front, where we originally came in, and I would guess sit outside and shrug as if we've been kind of admiring the place for a while.
Is there anywhere nearby that is higher up than the fort?
No. The tower itself, which I said was partially collapsed, is probably the highest thing in the entire area. I mean, there's some trees nearby that might match the height of the fort, but that's about it. Like the height of the walls of the fort. Maybe a couple that are a tiny bit higher, but not higher than the tower. The tower does seem to be the highest.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was any spot where we could look down into and what side the tower is on.
The tower is more on the south, like the south eastern corner, kind of like where you came in. You came in right next to the tower.
Okay.
So it's kind of like more around where that little bluff is. There really isn't a good place, like, unless you're up in the trees, maybe you could look down inside there.
Feel like being a princess?
Gonna throw me again?
I don't know if I can throw you all the way up, but it'll make your climb a lot quicker.
Very well.
It's going to kind of move around to where the tower is and chuck him up towards the tower.
Like the good old hand weave foot. Yeah. Boom!
Okay. Alright, I'm going to say, you can easily get up to the wall. Because, again, the tower is, like, right inside the walls. There's a little bit of wall that kind of goes around where the tower is, too. It's kind of, like, built into the side of the wall. But there is, like, an edge there at that point in time. So you're about halfway up the tower at that point. Actually, I'll say about 2/3 of the way up the tower. Because it really probably would have originally been halfway, but part of the tower's collapsed. So you have a little ways to climb up if you want to try to keep on climbing.
Well, I'm going to take a look around first just to kind of see...
Alright.
Real quick peek around the corner to see if I see anything from here.
Sure. Roll me another stealth. I'll roll another 2d6 here. Add some bonuses. Alright. Yeah, you're kind of like...
Hey, they rolled bad.
Yeah. So you kind of like peek around the corner, kind of like taking like a look.
I actually rolled the same, so
yeah.
Let's hope my modifier is better.
Kind of like taking a look around. You can kind of see that the 3 other people are seemingly milling about. They're kind of like looking around, poking at stuff inside there. The one that seems to be the leader is actually kind of sitting down on like an old piece of like rubble from probably one of the walls, like kind of fell down from like one of the walls, you know, kind of like almost sitting and waiting for something.
Does it look like they're looking for something, or does it look like they come here often?
I would say less looking like it. Whether they come here often or not, it does seem like they're waiting for something to happen, rather than looking for something. Because like the like leader of the group, or at least the one that led them here, is kind of sitting like, you know, cross arms, like kind of head down, eyes closed, like just waiting patiently, like, you know, seemingly just like focused on whatever's going on, while the rest of the men there are seemingly like kind of like doing whatever random like untrained bandit mooks would do when they're bored.
One of them's pissing in a corner.
Probably. One of them's pissing corner. Others like carving his name or something in something like a rock, you know. Another one's, you know, like kicking something.
Okay.
Like the 2 at the gate at least have some kind of job. watch the gate, but these three are like, well, I mean, we're supposed to watch the boss.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to, let's see. I mean, continue watching? I don't really know what else to do.
Okay, continue watching.
Yeah, I'm pretty much waiting for a signal.
Yep. So some time will pass by, and you're going to hear, since you're positioned on like the southeastern corner, you can notice. I'm guessing you're kind of gonna try to hide yourself a little bit there still.
Yeah, I'm probably using the tower as cover.
But I mean, Zeke, you're probably trying to hide yourself down there in that area kind of too, I'm saying.
Yeah. Like in some brush nearby where I can kind of see him.
You notice someone coming up the trail from the town. There's some kind of figure in like a ropes. Because now we're getting to like evening, you know, we're actually getting to evening after all your like wandering about. So you've been gone most of the day.
Yeah.
They'll come up. You'll see them kind of fumble around a little bit for something, pull it out, and seemingly unlock something and head into the fortress. Now switching over to Alvar's view, you see this kind of robed figure kind of move up. You see the one that was sitting on the rock kind of get up, stand up, and move over. And they're starting a conversation about something. If you wish to, you can have that mind perception to sort of overhear what they're doing. You are at not a bad angle and distance to try to maybe hear a little bit.
So, what I'm going to do, this will probably take about a minute, but I'm going to instead inscribe a circle, and I'm going to attempt to make a hollow tube of stone through the ground that goes to where their feet are, in an attempt to kind of amplify and listen to what they're saying more discreetly.
Okay, that's gonna require two rolls, I think. First, give me a what would transmutation? What's your transmutation? What's the skill for? Let me check.
So the transmutation I have at level 5.
Let me say roll a mind check, mind transmutation check.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And then roll me a mind stealth check to position it in a good spot where they're not going to notice it, and you're not going to get your concealment or camouflage bonuses. But you rolled really well, still. So okay. At least at this point, they haven't seemingly noticed it. Aurora, if you're going to be here, you got to turn down that volume or use your headphones. Sorry, being interrupted by Stream Niece on her tablet. Anyway, you'll hear this voice. Look, I can get you what you need, but you're going to have to deal with the right things. You know what we want.
Write it down.
Okay.
Let me show you how much.
It's okay, Aurora. I'm busy right now. You can do it. Keep playing. Okay.
Out of the way.
The guns are fine and all. The supplies are fine and all. But you want more than us than I think we can give you. Look, we're only out here to protect ourselves. And carve out our little niche of an empire in this place. And we've done a good job. But we aren't politicians. We don't have the hearts and minds of this town, and you haven't seemingly turned anyone to our side. Now, a couple of small farmers have joined us. Sure, the harvest keeps ending up bad. We've ensured that, just like you asked. But that doesn't mean anything if this place isn't going to truly turn to our side. And what are we going to do when the military shows up? Get slaughtered? No. I don't think you've shown enough for us to, really support us. We've seen what happens. You forget. We aren't far from where Ishval used to be. We remember. We're not asking you to throw your lives away. No. We merely wish for you to cause problems in the area. We'll continue to supply you with equipment, with money, whatever you need. We don't need a rebellion. No, that would be messy. We just need them to feel distracted. As long as you can keep some of their forces busy. Not all of them. Your weapons aren't good enough. We only have some old models. Get us some newer things and maybe then we can talk. I can see what I can arrange. Look, it isn't also easy to bring in things across the border and get them up here. But we can. Don't think you're the only group that we can talk to. I'm sure there's others that are more willing to get our support. Look, we'll continue to do our part in this area. The town will be in problem. We'll mess with the town. We'll make sure to keep the road under our controls. And we'll keep everything powerful. Aurora, you gotta get going.
I know I gotta get going.
Sorry. She decided to hang out and play with her tablet by my room, and she's getting in trouble. What was I talking about? We'll keep the town in check. Keep the crops down, just like you want. Make sure to sabotage things, just like you want. Keep them in line. We'll keep the road to the east secure, just like you want. And we'll keep sending some of the materials you need down south. Don't worry, we got the mines up and running perfectly, just like you want. The stuff is coming back to you. We're willing to trade, but I don't know how much farther we can go. If the military gets wind of what's really going on here, they will not like it. And I am not one for getting slaughtered. We only have...
I'm going to say I've been writing this down.
Okay.
Kind of as I'm listening.
I will do my best to give you better supplies. And my sources do tell me the military forces are being sent this way. I can tell you exactly where they're going to be with my sources. My spy should be able to give me the right information. You should be able to avoid them. They'll come in looking for you. They'll find your camp abandoned if they even get across your camp. As long as you keep everything in check, we'll keep our end of the bargain and make sure you stay safe. Their activities can only be used so many times before the people start questioning it, and especially the people around this area. We're more an experiment for you, and I know that. You're seeing how far you can push things before another civil war breaks out, but at least I'm smart enough to know when to watch things here. So, be warned. We'll keep the deal for now. But you're on thin ice in my book. Very well. I'll arrange to have the weapons, some new ones, within the week. As for your own dangers, I'll send a messenger in a couple days' time, as soon as I know the exact place the military will be coming in to deal with you. If you're out of the way, until they're gone, all the better. They can keep sending in troops all they want, and if they don't find anything, it just means you'll be stronger. You'll see the kind of leader guy kind of smirk at him and like, I always feel like I'm playing right into your hands. I don't like it. But you give me some good things. And I get a good deal for all the silver. Much better than I would have gotten in town. So. Come on, men. We're heading back.
Says that, I'm going to spin around, crumple up the paper that I've been writing on, and drop it to Zeke. He
Catch
can
it.
read through it. Can read through what just happened, and there's also at the bottom scribbled, like, attack, yes or no, Question mark.
I don't throw it back. I just put it in my pocket.
Oh, I figured you'd give me a thumbs up or thumbs down or something.
Oh no, I just wait in the bush.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You'll see, Zeke, you'll notice the figure kind of like leave, seemingly lock up the door, kind of like take a look around, not like seemingly like really taking a good look, you know, and then start walking down the path. The bandits you will see kind of pack themselves up and start, Alvar pack themselves up and start moving on the other direction.
When the guy gets past me, I instantly hop out, grab him, and cover his mouth and drag him back.
Okay. All right. Give me a melee combat roll, we'll say. I have to remember the grappling rules, too. Let me look those up. Grappling.
So, just my fisticuffs will work for the
it's
roll?
It's a normal unarmed attack. Yes.
So, yes.
Uh-huh.
17.
Let me roll 2d6 here. Alright, I rolled a 7. Let me add the modifiers for our friend here. You're trying to lock him in place, I'm assuming?
Lock him down, cover his mouth, and whisper in his ear, make noise, and I'll snap your neck.
Okay. Alright, he seemingly kind of quiets up and kind of gets dragged back with you.
Good. We're going to sit here for a little bit. And then we wait for bandits leave and Alvar to hop down, join us.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll kind of pop down and be kind of see that Zeke's got this kind of hooded figure that you saw before, kind of like locked down, seemingly. Kind of quiet for a little bit.
When you come down, I move my hand from his mouth down to his throat and just hold on there, not squeezing, but obviously like, don't try anything.
As you kind of move your hand down, it feels as if like his skin feels strange, almost like steel or like scaly or something. As you feel like your grip is not as good on him anymore.
How could he have cast?
As you see, like, as Alvar, you see this, like, the cloth kind of tearing and the person kind of expanding a little bit.
Is it drawn as person? All I have to do is channel through it.
Damn it. Well,
as, like, the hood drops back and it reveals this almost kind of, like, reptilian-looking face.
Oh, or Chimera.
Yeah, as soon as he starts, like, beefing
I don't
up,
think my characters know that much about
I
Chimera, so.
slam him into the ground.
Okay. Roll me another unarmed attack to slam him back down.
15.
Okay. Let me see his bonus here. I figured this out. Okay. So, alright. So, okay, you manage to sort of keep him locked in place, but as you try to, like, slam him down to the ground, you feel as though, like, you've hit a little bit of almost a movable spot, you know, for a little bit. He managed to sort of, like almost crunch down into the ground, as now the two of you are pretty big and, like, weighty, as you can feel, like, some of the little dirt and stuff kind of collapse beneath the two of you as you kind of begin to slide a little bit down, like, the hill, because you are, like, right at the edge of this, like, kind of, like, really steep part of the hill. As you're, like, kind of spinning around, sliding down, as you're trying to, like, push him down, as now you're, like, halfway down the hill, kind of, like, grappled in with him still. You're, like, holding on to him. He's, like, kind of, like, growling something to you, and he's, like, and he says, like, "Foul dog of the military! How dare you touch me?"
doesn't know a military dog.
You can assume.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, well, I'm gonna hop backwards, and load into like my. Also, my sniper is like bolt action.
Yeah. So.
So it's like, so I load in a bullet, click it back, and I fire at him. And I'm altering one, and I'm using the transmutation to alter one of the bullets from accuracy to tangle. Basically, ice is going to form around him.
Okay.
If I hit, I need to hit though.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. So ACV is the attack mod, right?
Attack combat value, yes.
Just click the button.
Well, it's more like I had to reduce that by 1 from my accuracy going down, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Okay. So he'll kind of like he'll try to like move out of the way, almost trying to put Zeke in the way, but you manage to still like predict that a little bit, and like he kind of catch him, kind of like blasts into him as he kind of like screeches a little bit. I think we have to take care of next.
So basically, what that does is the tangle effect has 5 hit points, and he has restricted movement, suffering a -3 penalty to like physical actions until he either until he basically breaks it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So,
also, it inflicts damage as normal, unless the weapon level is reduced to 0.
Okay, it was not reduced to 0. You did seem to do some kind of injury, but it does seem like his he does seem to have like some very thick armored skin that you do kind of block off of. But I'm gonna say because he's kind of reptilian, he seems to be like a lot more out of it now, almost. That it seemed to do because you did like an ice tangling, it seems more effective, and you get a good hold of him. But between the two of you, you kind of have him incapacitated at the moment. But you know what I'm going to do here? Why don't we... I was originally thinking about doing this one shot, but we did take a little longer, so why don't we do this 2 shots, and we'll continue next week, because it's getting almost 3.
And to be fair, you said 1 or 2 shot to us
1 or 2
before.
shots,
So.
yes. Well, I had an idea of how this story was going to flesh out, but I had only a couple of plot points, and I was going to see how it like played out when we were playing it, and it took a little longer, but that was fine. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And you've captured this chimera, seemingly, that seems to be at the moment.
Yeah. How well known are chimeras at this point? Are they still? I think they're still pretty unusual.
Most of them, they would really be unusual for another country too.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you know anything about chimeras in the world, that would probably be more defector, if anything, because the chimeras were originally elite military units.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So
then my character might know a little bit because I have a couple points in military science.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll the military science, and you might know. We can take care of that now. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. You have heard of something like this, especially used in the military, but you hadn't seen one of these before, nor have you actually you've only heard like rumors about because you've heard of chimeras before, but you've only heard about rumors about humanoid chimeras being used in like any kind of way, which is this is like surprising for you because you're like, that was sort of like dirty rumors that you dismissed, before.
Yeah.
But
okay. Interesting.
But we'll leave it off here, and we'll continue next week, where Alvar and Zeke will attempt to kind of finish ousting out what's going on here. And there seems to be more to this plot than just some bandits and selling some weapons.
I will add up my character points to see how I actually did, because I was doing this so fast I never actually added them up. I have no idea if I'm over, under.
Yep.
My guess is under.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Worst case scenario, we roll initiative and I beat the crap out of him.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay, cool. why don't we kind of say who everybody is? Why don't we start with the opposite direction? So we'll go over to Tiv first. Where are you? How do people find you? That kind of thing.
Hi, I'm Tiv, also known as Tavalik on pretty much everything. Yesterday I was on Wyrm's game. Today, Tance's game. Monday we do stuff together as well, pretty much. Might eventually be on another game. Planning on streaming a lot more pretty soon. But yeah,
Cool.
that.
Wyrm.
I am Diamond Wyrm. You can find me on twitch.tv/DiamondWyrm and on my Twitter @DiamondWyrm. I also have a Patreon, Diamond Wyrm.
Cool.
YouTube is a weird link because I'm not actually partnered there yet.
Yes.
So you probably have to go to my channel for that. I also have a Discord, which you can find on my channel as well.
Cool. Excellent. All right. And as usual, I am Tantazar of Dracovin. You can find me here daily, morning streams always, and lots of other stuff. I might be back later on tonight for some more stuff. You can find, this will eventually go up on my YouTube side along with other stuff. Always, all the VODs and some scripted stuff ends up on the YouTube side. I have my own Discord, the own Twitter down below. I have a Patreon, which if you want to either sub or Patreon or other ways to show extra support, but even just a follow here, subscription on YouTube, all help. Especially the subscription on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please do so, because with their changes in policy, I could use to get to 1,000 subscribers quicker rather than later. You know, even if you don't put on notifications and just check out my stuff occasionally, please do. You know, so I can get back to not having to worry about monetization disappearing. So, you know, because that's going to happen for a little bit. Anyway, all right, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back again next week at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, to continue the adventures with some BESM and Fullmetal Alchemist. So, thank you everyone, and goodbye.
Bye.